situations? Was there
Yes.
anyone or an institution that came through for you?
Nobody came through for me.
Mm.
I won't lie to you. Nobody, no company, no partner, nobody came through. So what happened? I had to be strategic within the business.
Welcome to SME Power Talk. My name is Soela Magolani. I'm the lead consultant of Metilise. Today, I'm wearing a different hat. I'm so excited to be here as a guest host for today's episode. Today, I'm joined by a phenomenal woman who has made strides and is still making strides in the healthcare sector. I'm sitting here today with Phumzile Nxumalo, the CEO and founder of Opulent Health Group. Phumzile, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be sitting here with you. I love your outfit. You literally are living out your brand.
Yes.
Love that. So, Phumzile, I want us to have a very casual conversation today about your journey. But most importantly, I want us to start with where you are now, the successes you're enjoying, the challenges you're facing. And from there, we'll take it to how you actually got here. Okay. So maybe let's start off, just tell me about Opulent Health Group.
Opulent Health Group is a health and wellness company, nurse-led. I'm a professional nurse by profession.
We can tell.
Yes, and we started in 2018. I usually refer to me as we.
As you should. As you
Yes,
should.
because I, always don't see Opulent as an, solo company, but I believe the team makes it possible. So we started in 2018, but then I was still working, Then subsequently, right now, we are now based in Midrand. We've got a clinic, and our offices are also there.
Yeah.
And we run a primary healthcare clinic. But our company has 5 divisions. So we've got a division of the clinic, but this is at the beginning of what I have in my head with what the clinic needs to be, and I've always had that vision, but, I learned along the way that this is where we needed to start. Let's start somewhere. But that's one division within the company, which is now why we had transitioned to group because of the other divisions we have. So we also have the IV infusion division.
Okay.
We do the IV drips and all of that, and the wellness one, which is quite the biggest one so far. We do corporate wellnesses. We do employee wellnesses with both government and private. We also contracted with Discovery Vitality. And we do corporate wellnesses. And I love preventive healthcare, And we also have home care division.
Okay.
So home care is where my nursing started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very close to my heart. It's not yet active as it used to be because of other divisions that I needed to focus on, but it's something that we'll definitely, work on and make sure it's a success.
Yeah.
And another division is a division of occupational medicals. I specialized at varsity. When I did my bachelor's, I specialized in occupational health.
Okay.
Love it as well,
Okay.
where we do medicals in big organizations and factories, finding people fit to work. It's one of the things that we do. Yeah. So that's why it's a group, because of those divisions. There's more divisions that we hope to get, also incorporated to a business like your midwifery, because I also have the midwifery, where we deliver normal babies from the midwife.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's about Opulent.
That is exciting. I hope you saw the excitement on my face when she said IV drips. I love IV drips.
Me too.
Everything in me. And I think probably my next session of an IV drip will be with Opulent Health Group. Why not? So you touched on the different divisions within Opulent Health Group, right? And one thing that when I was reading in your bio, you spoke about your vision to grow Opulent Health Group into a globally recognized and reputable healthcare company, right? So, going into the future, what does that look like? What does that long-term picture look like for you?
Oh, it's so exciting. I don't usually share that picture because it's very deep, and but just to explain to you what it looks like, it looks like a big building, with divisions inside the building, not just division that I just explained to you, but divisions of other healthcare service providers, like your podiatrist, your dentist, small pharmacy there, dietitian, physio. I have that group already working with
Okay.
when we do government medicals. So what I also noticed that we see people, on site, but they don't have referral systems to come back to these people after we've seen them on site. So the vision is to have those people in one building, one-stop shop for a person who needs healthcare. Also to have, as much as I'm a nursing practitioner, but also to have a medical doctor there for referrals, for escalation, for more complicated issues. We all a multidisciplinary team and we need each other. And
Yes.
when you come to that building, you need to find all of them in one so we can interrefer to each other. No, this one, I think you need to go to there. That's the picture I have. And make services affordable.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing of Opulent when it started was to make services high quality yet affordable. It shouldn't be that
That's very
difficult to
important.
access
Yes.
healthcare.
Yes. And I like what you said about a one stop shop.
Yeah.
We live in a time where convenience is everything, right? You don't want to have to move from one place to the other.
True.
If you can get everything in one place, that's fantastic.
Yes.
And that brings me to my next question. So you spoke about the partnerships that you have with other professionals within the healthcare space. And the one reality that we live in, and I suppose that's where the opportunity for Opulent Health Group comes in, is that the within South Africa, our
Yes.
health system, you know, has its challenges, has its flaws. And in your experience, where do you believe that the biggest gap exists within the healthcare system?
I think, having worked in both government
Mm,
and both private,
mm,
fortunately in private, I worked at management level. So
mm,
I had to learn these things, I had more exposure. So I think where the biggest gap is in preventive care. You know,
mm,
preventive care, and I would say also access to care.
mm,
People don't check themselves when they can.
mm,
They don't consult when they can.
mm.
How I enjoy seeing a patient who comes in and say, I have nothing wrong with me.
I'm just
Can you
coming in
just
for a
check me?
checkup.
Yeah, just
Yes.
check me, take the bloods if you have to. I love
Mm,
those people because they are 10 steps ahead of their medical
mm.
situations that could probably happen in a year or two.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest gap is preventive care. That's why we do wellnesses at corporate. We go to them because we know they collapse there at work. People don't check themselves. They go to work after work, it's home, and then weekends it's school, attending school sports, whatever, and doing errands and all of that. So people don't until it's it is now later on. Now they get into hospitals as like serious cases. So I think the biggest gap that I wish most medical aids and most, healthcare organizations could look into. Let's not deal with complications.
Mm,
We need to start at the bottom, and
mm,
which is where my heart is the most, preventive care. Whether it's at corporate, even occupationals and factories, we don't just do medicals and fight them fit, but it's also getting access to see if you have a problem or not.
yeah.
So I think I want to see people testing themselves before we deal with the condition.
I love that, and I can see the passion in what you're saying, and I find that to be very fitting at the current moment,
Yes.
but also beyond the current moment.
Yeah.
If you've been reading the headlines, there's a case of a young lady who um unfortunately passed away
Yes.
in the
Yes.
workplace when she had been, alerting her superiors to her
Yes.
not feeling well.
Mm.
And that then brings me to the conversation of the need for awareness of wellness within the
Yes.
workplace. And I
Yes.
think a lot of SMEs um, tend to overlook that.
Mm.
And in your experience, right, as not just as a healthcare professional,
Mm.
but also as someone who's running the type of company that you are running. What steps have you taken within your own workspace to show wellness. And the reason I'm asking this is that sometimes as business owners, we render our service,
Mm.
but we render our service to our customers, but we don't render that service to ourselves. I'm guilty of that. I know that very well. So in your case, what are you guys doing at Opulent Health Group to be an SME that shows that wellness is very important?
Um, at work, I think the most fortunate part about us is that my staff has easy access
Mm,
because everything is right here.
mm,
But I think most importantly as well is when somebody says they're not feeling well, I treat them first if they're okay with me treating them,
okay.
or I allow them to be, to get the help that they need. But within the clinic, we've got flu vaccines. We're like, guys, let's start with ourselves. Let's get the flu vaccines. It's winter season. Family planning, they got discounts because they
Mm,
are staff.
mm,
You want a family planning, you want this, you want to consult with an IV drip. We give each other IV drips. I had to learn to even put myself in IV drip because I'm like, I can't be giving people IV drips. I need one
you need
myself.
to be able to
And I had
understand.
to learn to infuse myself,
Mm,
but they will assist me, with balancing my, my hand and all of that, because I want them to know that we cannot give people services that we're not getting. So
mm,
what you need, an IV drip, yes, there's a discount, but at least it's better for you to get it than not to get it, and it's better because it's cheaper.
mm,
So everything that we usually give people, we know them. The vitamin B co-injections when we're tired, we get them ourselves, we inject ourselves.
mm,
And I think also the privilege they have even when they are sick on duty.
mm,
Or like, okay, fine, you're sick, I'm gonna give you treatment and you go home now.
mm.
And I think it's important, and because I've also learned with me where I've worked before, when you lead, you need to lead with passion. You need to lead with
100%.
kindness. You need, and that's what wellness is about. You need to feel for other people. And if even if someone is lying, your instinct can tell you it's low, but you're like, let me not. It's
Yes.
rather safe than not. Let me just give them the treatment and allow them to go home. And if they're feeling better, they'll come back.
Mm. Okay, that's great. I want to ask you about any challenges that you encountered when you transitioned from your corporate job to founding Opulent Health Group.
I would take forever, but just to give you briefly,
Mm,
it was difficult alone because the position I was working in management was quite demanding.
okay.
And it was difficult to leave work and do business because it looked like it was impossible initially. But then, because the biggest challenge would be capital. Can you
Mm,
sustain business without work?
mm,
Can you sustain yourself without
mm,
this job you're having? So when I left, capital was the biggest issue. But I had gotten tired of worrying about capital
mm.
because my heart was, seeking for business. My heart was on the ground with people, not in the boardrooms.
Yes.
And I realized that I have to take a risk. It was taking a risk, and the challenge now was not being believed for my vision. You tell people
Mm,
that this is what I want to do, and people that they can fund, they've got it, they can fund, but you sounded like you're telling a story.
yes.
So my biggest challenge was people not believing in what I'm saying. I
Mm,
see it, I feel it, I've been thinking about it for years. Why are you not seeing what I'm seeing? Because the vision bothers you, but the next person does not catch it easily.
yeah.
So I think the biggest problem for me was getting capital, getting believed. And I stopped wanting to be believed. I started doing it. I started
Mm,
doing it. I'm like, if I'm going to wait for people to believe what I'm doing, I'm not going to get it started. So
mm,
if I believe that it's going to happen, I need to start working on it. And I left my job and I started. And
yes.
gradually God started providing.
Mm,
And I think another challenge as a woman is people who think for you to get something, even though they don't believe in it, there's a transition that needs to happen.
mm,
And as a high principled person that I am, I couldn't allow that.
yeah.
So you have to suffer. You have to go through it because you couldn't sacrifice yourself.
Mm.
So as a woman in business, those type of challenges we have. But eventually God provides me. It gets
Indeed.
dark. Trust me, it gets dark. But eventually it gets light.
Yeah. So the funding part, capital is always whenever you talk to any business owner,
Mm,
when you ask the question around challenges, it's always
Funding.
funding, capital. And for you, how did you overcome that? Did you find ways to self fund? Was there any, without mentioning names, was there
Yes.
anyone or institution
Mhm.
that came through for you?
Nobody came through for me.
Mm,
I won't lie to you. Nobody, no company, no partner, nobody came through for me. So what happened? I had to be strategic within the business. I was
so,
doing this, and that sometimes all at the same time.
mm,
I thought, let me just focus on one division. One thing that I loved the most and that I saw could bring more business was the wellness,
mm,
and I started doing a lot of them with medical aids and, with jams at the time. They were also on board and doing with government organizations and Discovery also after my contract. And I thought, if I leave my work and focus on these two divisions, or rather these two, resources where some of revenues is coming from, and make sure that I put more energy, put more time in them, they'll bring more money. But if I do them while I'm working, it's not happening the way I want it. But I saw that if I stop working and I put my energies in it, it might bring more money. And that's what happened. And I started saving the money because the vision was the clinic. And then I realized that no, nobody's coming. Trust me, I sent emails to ANC, EFF, people that are not
yeah,
that big, but people that are not coming through. And I thought, let me get a
yeah,
little money from the from the from the government, from the Discovery, and save them until I got a place to rent. And I knew that I needed to start this thing because what I have in my head is too big, and maybe I won't get the capacity for it and the
yes,
capital to do it. And I thought, let me start small, because I realized that sometimes you just have to use what you have, and then eventually it builds up to what you have in your mind. Yeah.
So I like that you said that let me start small.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes a lot of SMEs fail to take off
Mm.
because the vision is there, but what we're trying to do is to go straight to that
To the
vision.
vision, yes.
And we don't understand that, it's a stepping stone to eventually get there. But also most importantly that what I've also taken away from what you said is you identified the niche that you must step into as your first step, being wellness, you said, right?
Yes.
That wellness was the first a division that you started with, where you
Yes.
knew that there's opportunity there as a starting point. And again as well with SMEs, with small business owners and entrepreneurs, we tend to fail at that step, that we have ideas and they're all scattered, and we struggle to just come in and say, okay, actually, let me focus on this one thing and it will get there. So also what I'm getting from what you're saying is that it doesn't just start off perfectly.
Not at
Yeah,
all.
it doesn't start off perfectly. You have to have the vision and know the steps to get you to the vision. I absolutely like that. So you've touched on and on partnerships that you've had. Um, mentorship. Has there been any mentorship that you've had that has helped you in forming what is Opulent Health Group today?
Um, so with regards to mentorship, I always look for people who does what I want, or
Mm,
who are already ahead of me when in terms of what I want to do.
mm,
And I can silently observe. I'm one person. I overanalyze a lot, so I will
okay.
check and check and like, okay, this one, but because what I wanted to do, I already studied for it.
Mm,
I had exposed myself over the years from 2018 until when I literally left my job in 2014. The whole time was learning. Trust
mm,
me, I did not work anywhere without intention.
yes.
Everywhere I applied was because I knew I've ticked tickets, but not this area. Because
Mm,
all of them, I wanted them to make me the businesswoman that I want to be in healthcare. But now, when I left my work, I've gathered all the information I needed, and I thought I was ready. I've studied, went back again. I thought I was ready, and I've seen enough because I worked different areas. I never worked in one area for more than a year. And it was intentional because I wanted to learn, move, so I make up who I want to be.
Yeah.
But when I was ready to leave, I looked for a business coach.
Okay.
I looked for a business coach, and one found me on LinkedIn. I've already had a meeting with a few. This one found me on LinkedIn, and I went to his office. I remember I sent my sister location. Like, I don't know where I am. I'm looking for a business coach, and I think I found one, but this place is weird.
Yeah.
Just in case. So, but that man has really helped me. Young man has really helped me because it's not just about advices. He made me realize that who I thought I am.
He affirmed that for
Yeah,
you.
he affirmed
Yes,
it,
that's
and
very important.
also just guided me and let me be. Guide me, let me be. And I'm glad I met him. He's still my business coach to date, and I believe there's more we're going to achieve.
That's amazing. When you left your job, so you left your job in 2014,
Yes.
right? And you'd been in corporate for how long at that
So
point?
at that point in corporate, in that position, I've been for 2 years, but different hospitals. Yeah, and then after that, it was manufacturing companies. It was also corporate. I would say 4 to 5 years in corporate.
Yeah. So there's always this conversation around the importance of, well, in your journey of entrepreneurship
Yes.
or in your journey to founding your SME, there's always this conversation around the importance of starting off in corporate, then going into entrepreneurship. And would you say that for you, and specifically that at the time when you left your last job, you were in a senior role?
Yes.
Did you find that the experience that you gained over the years was a catalyst for your entrepreneurial journey?
Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. That's why I said earlier, wherever I worked, I was intentional because I knew there was something for me to learn that would prepare me for who I want to be. So when my last job, I was a quality manager. So quality in a hospital was my job. From the entrance, when you get there as a patient, from the entrance until you leave the hospital, that was my job. For if you had a serious situation and you died, but you came here working, no incidents, patient safety.
Yes.
All of that was very important for me to learn. And I learned a lot because I also learned it actually affirmed my passion. Because now you see Suela who came in and suddenly they've complicated and now intubated in ICU. I'm like, how is it possible? And I have to investigate, do a lot of investigation, open the file. I have to liaise with doctors and stuff. And you realize that Suela was not taking care of themselves. Suela could have prevented this situation. Suela did not check herself when she had time to. Now it's complicated. And that's why when she entered the hospital, soon after that, she's now a serious case. And
Yes.
because the problem was brewing over time. And I'm like, just people need to check themselves in time. People, that was the affirmation that I want to go there. I want to talk to people. I want to make them aware. You don't have to come in and get complicated within 3 days and die. Let's check yourselves before it gets worse. So
Yes.
yeah, all of it was building up. It was
Yeah.
building up to like who I am now. I believe it was important that I went through all these positions.
Yeah, that is great. So we're living in a very digital tech tech led time,
Yes.
right? And even in the healthcare sector, we're seeing, some developments come up within tech, digital, AI,
Yes.
all of these buzzwords. What trends do you believe will shape the future of healthcare in South Africa?
I think, of course, AIs cannot completely replace nurses and doctors and all other healthcare professionals. Maybe they can try to some extent, but human to human, it's very important when it comes to healthcare. But the technology keeps, shocking us.
Yes.
The machines are being developed, and that makes life quick, easy for any practitioner. So that's what we want. Anything to make life easy. We spoke about convenience. We want
Yes.
convenience in healthcare. If you can establish a machine or develop something that will help us diagnose quickly, manage quickly, whatever the case may be. We want that. And I think also teleconsultations, the online consultations,
Okay.
will
Yes.
also, it's an in thing now. And I think it's helping a lot of people. Because sometimes you just need advice
Mm.
on what you are dealing with. You need a consultation when
Yeah.
you at your comfort zone, whether you're at work, whether you're at home. Just call me, man. What's your problem? And just speak about it. We do the whole analysis online, and this thing is becoming bigger and bigger. And I think that's where it will go. Because then what it does, it will also provide another level of access to
Yes.
healthcare. So I think innovation, we all want it. It's at the core of healthcare, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So when you touched on teleconsultations,
Mm.
I know that I'm definitely not the market for that. I'm definitely not the market for that because
Okay.
if I'm not feeling well and I feel the need to consult,
Yeah.
I want the doctor to see me, to physically examine me.
Okay.
So I suppose I'm a bit backwards
Yeah.
when it comes to that I
Yeah.
still want to go
Yeah.
physically be examined.
Yes.
But it's just very interesting to see how technology evolves and tying that to the realities of South Africans,
Yeah.
that the average I don't know what the stats are, but the average South African does not have medical aid, for
Mhm.
example. And we look at the demographics, we look at the rurals where access to healthcare is still an issue.
Okay.
Would you say that we are in a position as a country to really be adopting technology in face of those realities, that there's still inequalities within the access to healthcare within our country?
I think so. I think there's still areas where people are not getting, easy access to health.
Mm.
And it's been there for years. There's definitely ways that it can be improved. Speaking of medical aids, you think you're in midrand, everybody has a medical aid.
Mm.
They don't. But bringing access, some people don't think they fit the category of going to a public clinic,
Mm.
but cannot also afford a private hospital.
Yes.
So that's where the gap
That is where
that we
you come
see.
in. That
That's
is
where I
where
come in.
Opulent
Yeah,
Health Group
that's where
comes
Opulent
in.
comes into. If you can't afford the public clinic, we hear no waiting times. Do this, we do this, we do it,
Mm.
because that's what people want.
Mm.
Then you give them at an affordable cost. But then those that are disadvantaged in rural areas and all of that, then you speak of technology, and some of them might not even have access to technology itself.
Mm.
The most important thing is now, how do we go to them? Like, I always have this
Mm.
vision that we can leave our townships, we can leave our suburbs and go, mobile clinic, go to those people and make it a random thing,
Yeah.
until people get used to healthcare systems. Health education is big. You teach them how to do, and before you know it, people living in disadvantaged areas know how to handle themselves. They know that will be coming on certain days. You bring more access, and you prevent a lot of issues. So
Yeah.
I think access is possible. It's just not made easy, but it's possible.
It's
Just need
it
resources
truly
and people
is.
to get to people, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier
Mm.
about um being a woman, starting up your own business, and the challenges you face. I always find that when I talk to other female entrepreneurs, because I'm an entrepreneur myself,
Yes.
when I chat to them, we all have the same issues, and sometimes it's like we're starting to sound like a broken record, but it's the
Reality.
realities
Yes.
that we face. And so I want to ask you, with your experience, what advice would you give to young women who aspire to build successful businesses, but most importantly, successful businesses in the healthcare sector?
Um, it's not easy as a woman.
Mm.
Uh, but I mean, from my point of view, also as a spiritual person, I also believe that don't compromise yourself.
Mm.
I think compromising yourself it's an easy, look like an easy way, but I believe it's actually intoxicating,
Mm.
your vision,
Yeah.
yeah, your reputation. Yeah, I feel like we don't have to, go that low. It's not
Mm,
necessary. It might look tempting sometime, when a person's like, I'll give you 3 million contract, but like,
mm,
and you don't have money. You have a minus on your account.
mm,
And here's a person who's willing to have a piece of you just to give you that much. And what I would say to women, don't go for it. It's a
mm,
trap. Don't do it. It might look enticing at that time, but I believe personally that it affects my vision. It affects
mm.
who I am, my principles, and that's what governs me.
Yeah,
Yeah. So let's not do it. Let's just go in, be ready for the hiccups, be ready for the challenges, be
yeah.
ready for the dark days, be ready for the loneliness, be ready
Mm,
for the sleepless nights where you cry in the morning and you put makeup and you look like you've got it all figured out.
mm,
Be ready for betrayal. People betray you in
mm.
business, your employees. Be ready for it. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, God sees our efforts and it becomes worth
Yeah.
the stress.
And definitely that the same way you had the idea or this vision, there will be provision to
Yes,
to
thank
see
you.
that vision out. I
Thank
love I
you.
love that what you said there. I want to take us way back
Okay.
in our closing.
All right.
Um, where is Phumzile from?
Mm-hmm.
Did Phumzile ever imagine that in 2026 she'd be sitting in this chair talking about her successful career, her successful business?
Phumzile is from Khartoum. I'm
Okay.
from Kuzong, a small township.
Mm,
Um, I always loved nursing. I have never wanted to be anything else. When even in high school, I knew I was a nursing. And, when somebody has a situation, they will call me, Lisa Phumzile, and I will help with his asthma, with his epilepsy. It's like I
mm,
knew what I needed to do at the time. And then also as a neighbor, I used to take her off so much. And when she died, she said, You're going to be a nurse, not just a nurse.
mm,
And I felt that. But after that, opportunities came, and I don't know, lie, I didn't struggle to get into nursing. Not much struggle, but I went in eventually.
mm.
And when I was in there, I'm from a family of my father who used to be a businessman
Okay.
and his father, my grandfather. And I
Okay.
used to look up to them, but something happened and my dad was like, I'm done with business. And I
Mm,
was not done. I'm like, dude, I love what you guys were doing, but I'll hold on to it.
mm,
And I knew I needed to be also a businesswoman, but I didn't know how my love for nursing
mm,
and business will merge.
mm,
Until now I realized, but I was always confident. I won't lie to you.
mm.
I didn't see it. And what I learned about resilience, putting effort, is that it gets clearer the more you keep effort, keep putting the effort. So
Yes.
sometimes who you are meant to be, it gets better the more you keep going. Because right now you see, I wanna go there. And then when the closer you get, like, actually, I wanna go there. It
Mm,
gets better the more you work on it.
mm,
But I think when I was in college, I already knew I wanted to be in business.
mm.
Then I moved. I kept moving, and I knew I was going to be in business in nursing. And God gave me the vision. The name Opulent, I did not come with it. I dreamt about it, and I woke up, Opul.
Mm.
Oh, what is that? And the Spirit said, go to the dictionary, and I found the name there. Like, okay, this is the name of my company.
Yes.
So everything just kept revealing itself, and who I need to be continues to reveal itself. Now I see who I want to be, and it scares me
Yes.
compared to how I saw myself 10 years ago.
Mm.
So the vision gets clearer, and I believe it's coming.
Yeah. That's great. And I think my closing words to you, Pumzile, would be that I am so inspired by what you have done.
Thank you.
And one other thing that is very key to what you have done is that I think you are killing the stigma around becoming a nurse.
Yes.
When you look at careers today, when you talk to young people and the career choices that they want to go into, nursing is really one that you would hear. But now when we look at what you have done with this career is very inspiring. And I really hope that within our audience that there are young people who will watch this episode and be
Inspired,
inspired
yeah.
that it's not just about the career path. The career path can open other doors. Pumzile, thank you so much. if we want to come consult, if we want to have a chat with you, where can we find you?
Okay, so we are in Midrand. Right now, a smaller clinic is at number 2 Borinev in Vona Valley.
Okay.
And so we work from Monday to Saturday. And yeah, and we are there on social media. You look for Opulent Health Group or Opulent Clinic, you'll find us. Be easy to find. Social media and yeah, location right now is Midrand.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope that, not I hope, I will be seeing you soon for my IV drip.
All right.
And that brings us to the end of this episode. It has been so insightful. I think the most important takeaways from today's episode is one, that your career path doesn't limit you to entrepreneurial opportunities, and Phumzile is a shining example of that. Secondly, there is opportunity within the healthcare space for SMEs. Phumzile is an example. She's told us how she has done it. If there are any other SMEs out there, any individuals who are thinking about how they can start businesses within the healthcare sector, perhaps look at Phumzile's blueprints, apologies. There's some inspiration to draw from there. And in closing, my name is Sawela Makhulani. It has been such a pleasure to host today's episode. Thank you.